Hey there everyone, and welcome to the 20th episode of Crab Digging Investigations. This time we're going to take a look at the game that most people will think about first when they think CDI, Burn Cycle. Now before we take a look at what the gameplay is actually like, I'd like to show you the game itself, since you can really tell that a lot of effort went into it. The case itself is made of a very bright green transparent plastic, not all too common with games. And the front has these little lines to highlight the cover art, a pretty nice touch. Inside of course you find the booklet, however this one's actually fully colored, something that's very rare with CDI games. You also get this little extra paper package addressed to the main character of the game. In it you find a letter accompanied by some other hard copies of some emails that had an effect on the story. It's a pretty neat touch and provides some extra backstory, but you can still understand what's going on if you don't have this. You also find not one, but two discs in the case. The second disc is the soundtrack of the game, which by the way is great. Also the discs are gold. I don't know of any other CD based games that have gold pressed discs, but when a game is gold, you just know it means business. So with that behind us, let's check it out and see if it can justify itself as being all bling bling. Alright, so this is another FMV game, but don't close this video just yet, since this one's actually pretty good. I know it sounds weird, but bear with me here. The game was made by Trip Media and released in 1994. You'll find the word trip a lot in this game, like Trip World, which is supposed to be some kind of amusement park. Man, with such a name, that has to be good. The story is pretty good, as is the setting for the game. You play a soul cutter who's a data thief, and you start the game as he just tried to steal some data from a big corporation named Softec, but something goes horribly wrong.
Cutter, come in, Cutter. What's happening? Are you alright?
I tried to think, but my thoughts raced around with nowhere to go. It was like someone had put a shotgun upside my head and blown a hole clear through my brain.
Cutter, talk to me, goddamn you. Where are you?
Along with the data he gets a nice little virus in his head, and within 2 hours it'll make his head go kaboom! These 2 hours are a real-time countdown, by the way. It turns out that it's just not a good day for our hero, since as you guide Cutter out of Softec to make his escape, his girl gets shot too. And now it's up to you to find out what the hell is going on and how you can get that virus out of his head. The game setting has a lot in common with William Gibson's work Johnny Mnemonic. It's a great fun setting and the story is pretty rich. This is actually a game I do not wish to give any further spoilers for. Anyone who likes cyberpunk stuff like Blade Runner or Snatcher will quickly find lots to like in here. The game itself plays out like a point and click adventure, much like the game Myst. This game is however fully modeled in 3D, even though it's a pretty primitive 3D compared to today's standard. Item management is very limited, there's no combining and such, it's just find item here, use it there. Instead what the game does is pull up little puzzles as you use items for you to solve. Most of these make sense in the context. One problem with these puzzles is that the game doesn't give a whole lot of instructions on what you're supposed to do, so it involves a lot of experimentation. The puzzles never get too hard though, however in a lot of instances taking too long just flat out kills you. There are also some shootout scenes where you have to be fairly quick if you wish to stay alive. One hit kills you, especially the ones where you fly in a lifter and have to destroy the incoming mines take some time to get used to. It kinda feels like Missile Command where you have to shoot ahead of the mines. I really recommend you save often, since it's not always hinted that going a certain place will instantly kill you. Like walking up to the hotel is a big no-no, since the guard will shoot you right away. But you have no way of knowing this the first time, and death means game over and back to the title screen you go. So save often, since you will die a lot, which is kind of
It's a bitch.
Yeah, you tell him, Buddha. Now for the presentation. Back then when 3D was just kicking in, this was the shit. However, the graphics haven't aged too well, although they do retain their distinct artistic design. Of course, there are also the FMV sequences in which everyone wears ridiculous clothes. These sequences are played on top of the 3D world with obvious blue screen effects. The FMV sequences look grainy and overly compressed, but this game does not use the power of the digital video cartridge, which does make it impressive, but again I wish they had, so it would look so much better. Of course, it's easy to spot the obvious blue screen effects, but for the most part it's capable work. However, there are a few parts that just look weird, like someone walking off screen too early or spots that just don't look right at all. Also, there are some continuity problems, like here where Saul automatically puts on this HUD. By the way, they don't make them any smaller in the future, do they? Then he turns around and another FMV plays where he doesn't have it on anymore. It's too bad, since these little arrows break immersion and should have been seen during editing and corrected. The acting is actually pretty damn good, especially compared to most other FMV games. These characters will grow on you, although in a few instances there is an echo or it sounds like they speak too close to the microphone.
Insert card to receive ASCII televerse coordinates.
But these are again technical errors, and for the most part it's pretty good acting work all around. It's all supplemented by an excellent music score which fits the game's setting very well. When you click the menu button, you get to see how much time you've got left. There's no real reason to worry too much though, since you can extend the time with certain items, which I bet are exported from Trip World. And with saving and loading, you should be able to get through without worrying too much about the time limit. On the menu you also hear Saul's thoughts, which sometimes gives hints on where to go or what to do next. I think if you really know what to do, the game can actually be beaten within an hour or so. It's about the only real complaint I have with it. It's too damn short. Just when things start to pick up and you get a better grasp of what's going on, it's already about to end. And you're so into it then you want more. But don't get me wrong, the first time you play this, it'll take you way longer than 1 hour to beat it. It's just a fun game and Cyberpunk fans should definitely check it out. It has a cool story, has a somewhat humorous and satisfying if questionable conclusion, and it plays fine with varied play elements. It can be a bit hard to figure out where to go sometimes though. It tries to give you the impression that it's really open, but it's actually very linear. This game was also released for the PC and the Mac, but from what I've heard, these were inferior to the CDI version, which has almost no loading times, which makes for a very fluent experience. This game was also released as a packing game with the CDI 450 model, and it was hyped up like crazy by Philips. So it shouldn't be too hard to find any copies of it. Kind of weird how they chose this game as a packing game for a family-friendly multimedia system, don't you think? Regardless, there. This game is still a golden turd. If you get a chance, check it out. Well, that wraps up this episode. Thank you all very much for watching. I can't believe I've already got more than 200 subscribers. It went so fast. Thank you all. I'll make something special for you guys soon. Until then, take care. Bye.